This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Like a 12-round fight, and it's knocking me out. How could I be so quick to believe? Can't get up. I'm running from these rituals, they're haunting me.
Program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you know that. So do I. And you don't really have to do much about it. You know it doesn't matter who the host is. What matters is that you're here. That's the important portion. You know, I was thinking about it yesterday. It really has been a long time since we've had somebody else host the show. The last one was Posel, and he came in and did his thing. So I don't really know if it was a hosting of the show or maybe it was a replacement of a show for that period of time. I think he did a great job, by the way. Anyway, so let's start talking. Today's Wednesday, February the 15th of 2023, day 46th of the year, and only 319 days left to go. Yeah, we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida. And, you know, we are being part of the multiverse of things, all Safety FM. And then, of course, some people are being infiltrated. You know, that kind of fun stuff that we talk about.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Yeah, some infiltration, radio big, you know, the stuff we talk about, the stuff that we do. So let's talk. Let's chat. How was the last 24 hours for you? I'm being serious because, listen, yesterday was a big day. If you're romantically involved and you buy into the card holidays, so it was a big deal. I hope that things didn't get too messed up in regards to that because it gets kind of weird if you do mess up. I mean, I have to tell you, when it comes to my wife, she does not care about those holidays like that. So it's not a thing. It's not a thing. So it's not that I forget because I still have 2 other kids that you have to show the love of the world to. So it's one of those things that it makes it pretty interesting. Anyway, so let's talk about some things that we want to talk about. If you want to interact with the show, it's a simple process on doing so. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. If you want to do the visual radio aspect, well, that's a simpler process. All you do is go to safetyfm.com and click on visual radio, or radiobig.fm and click on visual radio. If not, you can take it in my preferred method, which is the streaming radio aspect, where you can find us on iHeartRadio. So there you go. Some stuff right there. Or if not, you can wait into the day and see the podcasty version of what is going on. So there you go. So listen, I have to say this. I am still amazed about the level of interest of people wanting to come out and hang out in Santa Fe. I don't know how else to say it besides saying it. It's sold out. Like, no mas tickets. I appreciate it. But I am telling you, pay close attention because I will make it up to you. So safetyfm.io. If you go there, you can stay up to beat. But the March the 6th through the 9th event is sold out. Sold out, sold out, sold out. Now, if you do want to come and hang out with us, we will be having the Safety Worlds Collide event taking place in Phoenix, Arizona. It'll be Brent Sutton, Sam Goodman, and myself. You can find out more information at safetyfm.io about Safety Worlds Collide. It's going to be a different approach to what we're doing around here. So if you want to come and hang out, we would love to see you. Listen, all three hosts, or all three speakers are hosts from shows here on Safety FM. So keep that in mind as we are talking. So let's get into it. Let's get into the things that are going on. Let's start talking about what is trending, ending, moving, grooving, and all that fun stuff, because that's part of the reason that you're here, and also that it's a Whip 'em Out Wednesday.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so in taking a look around at what was going on, a bunch of Cadbury eggs go missing. Good thing the thief didn't make this getaway in a new electric F-150 Lightning. We'll talk about that. Ford suspended their production ahead of an unidentified battery concern. So we can talk about that. Nikki Haley officially joins the 2024 fray, while California Senator Dianne Feinstein says that she's retiring. We'll talk about that if we decide to get swampy. Don't expect any more thirst traps from Tom Brady and the chicks that are heading on tour. Yeah, you know, the former Dixie Chicks. And Steven Spielberg has no regrets on passing up directing the first Harry Potter film, and filming on Rust will resume in spring. We'll talk a little bit more about that if you care to know. So if you're not familiar with the show, we talk about safety in the news and safety, and then we give you some mumbo jumbo of other stuff that is going on. I come back, kind of give you the words of what I have going on, and thanks to that extent. So if you want to take a listen to that, you're more than welcome to. Also, on the other side of the equation, we would love for you to interact. Let us know what exactly you like, don't like, and all that kind of fun stuff. So we kind of go from there. We figure it out as we go, is the way that it goes. So we bring in the professional broadcasters to talk about what is going on. The other portion that I love to talk about is people go, well, the whole show is not about safety. And I have to tell you, you are 100% correct. And the reason the whole show is not about safety is that we want you to have topical information to talk about if you decide to use some of the standpoints inside of your stand-up meetings. And we try to make it as progressive as possible as we tie into the world of safety. Yep, I know, kind of a weird thing on how we do this, but that's the way that it's gone. And to think how we started to where we are now. Boy, has the life changed. Anyways, with that being said, let's get into the pro broadcasters. Here is the news. No, seriously.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Mark Mayfield. California Senator Dianne Feinstein won't run for re-election next year. In a statement, the Democrat said she'll finish her current term. She was elected to the Senate in 1992 and is the longest-serving female senator ever. There had been mounting pressure on her to make a decision, as other Democrats had already announced a bid for her seat. The Senate Minority Leader is stressing that entitlements aren't on the table in negotiating to raise the debt ceiling.
There is no agenda on the part of Senate Republicans to revisit Medicare or Social Security, period.
Kentucky Republican Mitch McConnell told reporters he's sure the debt ceiling will be dealt with. He said he's confident the U.S. won't default and that House Speaker Kevin McCarthy has said the same. McConnell said Social Security isn't an issue between the parties. New York Congressman George Santos is refusing calls to step down. Brian Shook reports.
In a tweet Tuesday, the embattled Republican posted, "I'm not leaving, I'm not hiding, and I'm not backing down." Santos still hasn't answered questions regarding campaign finances. Santos spent more than $365,000 during his 2022 congressional campaign, but failed to give any details. I'm Brian Shook.
The flying objects recently shot down in the U.S. and Canada were likely being used for one of two purposes. National Security Council spokesman John Kirby said their purpose was either commercial or harmless. This after the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff said all but one object was taken out of the sky with the first shot. The only object that required two shots was the one over Lake Huron. And a semi-truck rollover is to blame for a spill of hazardous material in Arizona. The crash took place in Tucson, with nitric acid in liquid form being spilled. A shelter in place was directed to everyone within a mile of the crash, with people advised to turn off heaters and air conditioning units that bring in outside air. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Julia Chapman. Ukraine's president says the country's allies must act quickly to deliver more arms and fresh supplies to its forces. Officials at the European Union are meeting on Wednesday to discuss a 10th sanctions package against Russia. And the Indian offices of British broadcaster the BBC have been searched by tax authorities as part of an investigation.
More sarcasm with an Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Senators are ripping the effects of cryptocurrency in the past year, especially after the collapse of FTX.
Big crypto companies are looking to make big profits, are desperate to reach as many Americans as they can, hence the $54 million in ads in the Super Bowl. They brought in celebrities and gimmicks.
Ohio Democrat Sherrod Brown spoke in a hearing on the matter. Republican Senator Tim Scott added that even though financial innovation with new technology is critical, many in the digital asset space, such as FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried, have instead misused and stolen funds. Governor Ron DeSantis is reaffirming his vow to reform Florida's capital sentencing process. The governor made that declaration yesterday, exactly 5 years after the deadly mass shooting at a school in Parkland. He criticized the ruling last year to sentence the convicted shooter to life in prison. He went on to say the state is working on a way to remove the required unanimous vote for the death penalty. A San Francisco-bound United Airlines flight was within less than 775 feet of plunging into the Pacific Ocean late last year. Michael Kastner reports.
That's according to a new report in Air Current, which was confirmed by United Airlines. The plane reportedly took a steep dive after departing from Maui on December 18th of last year. The plane took off during heavy rain and a flash flood warning and reportedly fell at about 8,600 feet per minute before making a full recovery. The dive and recovery happened in 45 seconds, and the plane landed safely in San Francisco. The dive produced nearly 3 times the force of gravity on the plane and its passengers. I'm Michael Kastner.
And an alarming amount of animals are dying in areas near the Ohio train derailment. Officials with the Ohio Department of Natural Resources said almost 4,000 dead fish were counted in 4 nearby waterways from East Palestine. A resident in North Lima, which is over 10 miles away, said 5 of her hens and a rooster died suddenly. The Norfolk Southern Railway train derailed February 3rd near the Pennsylvania border. The EPA is monitoring the situation. Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
We're rocking all day at work because we don't give a duck. Autocorrect probably just saved my ass there.
Like I give a flying, you know.
These days, it can be hard to find and hire the right candidates for your small business. That's why LinkedIn Jobs made it easier to find the people that you want to talk to faster and for free. I have to tell you, even before they ever became a sponsor here on Safety FM, we have used LinkedIn Jobs to help find the people that we have here on Safety FM. It's an easy service to use. Create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 770 million people. Focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience and use screening questions to get your role in front of only the most qualified candidates. Then use the simple tools on LinkedIn Jobs to quickly filter and prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know that every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your job for free at linkedin.com/safetyfm. That's linkedin.com/safetyfm to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
Wake up and text. Text and eat. Text and catch the bus. Text and miss your stop. Wait. Text and be late to work. Sorry, I'm late. Text and work. Text and pretend to work. Text and act surprised when someone calls you out for not working.
Who, me?
Text and meet up with a friend you haven't seen in forever.
Hi. Oh, hey.
Text and complain that they're on their phone the whole time. Text and listen to them complain that you're on your phone the whole time. Text and whatever. But when you get behind the wheel, give your phone to a passenger. Put it in the glove box. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Is that a faucet running? That's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. Forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink.
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe.
I didn't know the trees were so amazing.
Yep, and the forest gives us shade, trees to climb.
That's awesome. Let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home, and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
In order to save the planet from cow farts, why doesn't someone just invent really large gas X pills?
God, what's that awful stench?
Radio.
Coming up next on the Rated R Safety Show. Rated R Safety Show. Sarcastic? Never.
Anyways, 18 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out and getting on the verge of talking about the shit list. And maybe that's not really the list to talk about the day after Valentine's Day. But if we're thinking about this, think about it. If you did not do a lot of things yesterday and you really were like, I didn't get to celebrate Valentine's, today is the day. Today is your day. And let me explain this. Because today, if you go to the supermarket, you take your choice. All of that Valentine's Day candy shit that was left over, you have the availability of purchasing some at probably 50% off. So it's not a bad deal. It works out. It works out the way that it goes. Anyways, let's talk about some of the things that are going on today. Fewer 16 and 17-year-olds are clamoring to get their driver's license. What used to be the rite of passage has, likely so much of a life of Gen Z has turned into an anxiety-ridden burden. Listen to this. The Washington Post reports that by 2020, only 25% of 16-year-olds got their licenses, down from 43% of 1997. The share of the 17 years old who could drive, fell from 62% to 45% over the same period. The Post's city three major concerns is cohort over driving, anxiety, finances, and environmental concerns. I will tell you, as I think about this, when I got my, we'll call it my permit, and then got my driver's license, I don't think I got it when I first turned 16. I think I waited until I was closer to 17 because I was a little paranoid about what the hell was going on. That's for sure. Now I can't even envision a life without a driver's license, but that's a whole other story. So there you go. So how long did you wait? I have friends that waited a long time. And I'm not extremely young per se by what people call standards. I know I look like I'm 20. No, I'm joking as you say that. But I understand. I mean, it's one of those things that there is no big rush to do it. But we can probably get into some stories some other days. I'll tell you the experience how I was riding around with a kid that was 14. I think I might have been 15. And he was the driver. And I think my friend was the oldest one with us, and he was 15 or 16. It's a whole other story. Anyways, let's get into some other stuff. Police in England have busted a man for stealing more than $48,000 worth of Canterbury cream eggs. Let's make sure that we specify cream eggs. And that's just before Easter. The culprit broke into the industrial storage site and loaded up with more than 200,000 candy eggs into a trailer. No word of on the suspect. The 32-year-old Jobby Pool planned to eat them all himself. I mean, I don't know. And this is worth noting. Left in room temperature, chocolate eggs are good for about a month, but they'll last a good bit longer if refrigerated. So if there were in a storage, was it a refrigerator storage? I mean, that's what I would like to know. Take a listen to this. LBC's math might be a little screwy with 200,000 candy eggs worth about 40,000 euros. That's $20 a pence of an egg. That might be in the wholesale price. At the store, the 5-pack runs for about €2 or a 40 pence of an eggs. The reporting will assume that the unidentified illicit black market street value of Cadbury cream eggs, although they would have a theory of being able to sell well below the wholesale cost because it costs in sales is zero. So other than the fuel, trailer, labor it takes to break it into the storage facility. So I don't know. Some weird numbers there. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the candy Canterbury egg, but that's just me. And I don't know. What is it? What is the street value to you? What would you give some consideration to if you're giving it some thought right there?
Here is another bit for our competitors to copy. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, take a listen to this. In Oregon State, an agency called the Liquor and Cannabis Commission oversees the distribution of distilled spirits to independently operate liquor stores. It's in a strange bit of centralized control, maybe not, for the Pacific Northwest, but in which it states that purchases and store booze then decides which private stores can buy it from and state and resell it to the consumer. Yeah, I know it gets kind of weird. Now, the head of the agency, a man named Steve Marks, is resigning after he admitted to investigators that he used the agency to power to purchase his favorite kinds of rare high-end alcohol and sending them to stores where he could be the first to buy them. Yeah, I did say that. In Mark's case, his favorite spirit is Pappy Van Winkle bourbon, which can retail for thousands of dollars. In this case, the 23-year-old's bottle spirit retails for about $5,000 with a salary of over $222,000 a year. He could certainly afford a few bottles of that. So worth asking if the state levels bureaucrats are gaming the centralized control system of their own personal, for their own personal and financial advantage. What hope does the national level welfare program overseen, by different administrators? It's just kind of a weird thing. If you're taking something like the liquor stuff and taking a look at it and going differently. I don't know. So take a listen to this. Ford has paused production on an electric F-150 Lightning model, citing a vague potential battery issue. The shutdown started last week after one of the vehicles failed the pre-delivery inspection. No word yet when things will be back up and running. So that's going to get interesting right away because, as you are aware, Ford's a pretty big manufacturer. So people are going to have some questions of what the hell's going on in the battery world. There is no doubt about that. Take a listen to this. When you default on your mortgage, the bank comes to foreclose. But that happens when the owner on the apartment building doesn't make the payments. Maybe that's the question to ask. Such is the case in Clarinda, Iowa, where tenants have been had to pay out of pocket to keep ongoing vermin and bugs and infestation at bay, and they pop up over and over again. Last month, residents of two different complexes received notices the building are in foreclosure, and while the eviction isn't imminent, their futures remain uncertain. There's hope for the responsible landlord buys the property at the foreclosure sale, but it's also, in the meantime, they are on the hook for the monthly rent payments, though it's anyone's guess on what the hell's going on with the payments. Isn't it weird? So, you're on the hook for all this other stuff, but because you're renting from someone, you could be on the hook altogether and get your ass kicked out, even though you did absolutely nothing wrong. What a weird world, huh?
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the charts and the things that are going on inside of this world, though, because that's going to be important, though. Yeah, I think so. So let's talk about the charts. Top fiction and nonfiction books currently on the New York Times bestsellers list. At the number 5 spot, according to the fiction category, is Heart's Bones. At number 4 is Verity. At number 3, Lessons in Chemistry. At number 2, It Starts With Us. At number 1, It Ends With Us. 4 of the top 5 books are by Colleen Hoover. Just want to bring the reference to that real quick. On the other side of the equation, take a listen to this. The nonfiction category, in the top 5, take a listen. Number 5 is The Nazi Conspiracy at number 5. At number 4, I'm Glad My Mom Died. At number 3, The Body Keeps the Score. At number 2, Love Pamela. Yeah, that's that Pamela Anderson book, just in case. And at number 1 is Spare, just in case if you're wondering on what is over there going on right now. Anyways, with that being said, it is 26 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's bring some John Smalls inside of here and let him tell us about what the hell is going on with the market beat.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Wednesday, February 15th, 2023. Equity markets wobbled Tuesday following an unexpectedly hot read on consumer inflation. The January read on Consumer Price Index showed inflation cooling versus last year, but less than expected as near-term inflation re-accelerates. The acceleration in inflation is driven by wage inflation and new troubles with the supply chain. Inventories are on the rise across the S&P 500 universe, driving up the cost of storage. Wednesday's action could bring more trouble for an already tired market. The January retail sales figure is due out and could be an alarming number. The consensus is for retail sales to have increased versus the previous month, despite the typical post-holiday slowdown and impact of inflation. In this light, the retail sales figure might not just be bad, it might be very bad and pointing to increasing weakness within the economy. The takeaway, as always, is that poor retail sales figures will equate to lower expectations for the S&P 500 earnings. You can get the inside track at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, John Small, for the information, because it's always important what you have to share. There is no doubt about it. Here's what I was able to find. The Dow lost about 156 points to close at 34,089 on Tuesday. The S&P lost about just 1 point to close at 4,136, while the NASDAQ added about 68 points to close at 11,960. West Texas Intermediate closed at $79 a barrel, Brent crude at $85 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.41 on Tuesday. Bitcoin was up 2%. Let's see, on Tuesday, trading about 22,260. There was more than 1,880 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Tuesday, and more than 129 flight cancellations that also did take place. So tonight's Powerball drawing will be for $57 million jackpot, or a $30, listen to me, or a $30.1 million cash payout. I almost said $30. Could you imagine that? You're sitting around going, yeah, I think I just won, and I got $30. Well, I mean, I guess that's still a good thing, depending on how you want to look at it. I guess. I don't know.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's continue talking about some of the things that are going on inside of here. Take a listen to this. Grosse Pointe Public Schools Superintendent John Dean says the community is mourning after the Ariel Anderson and Brian Frazier were identified as the 2 of the 3 people that were killed at the Michigan State University on Monday night.
How is it possible that this happened in the first place? An act of senseless violence that has no place in our society, and in particular, no place in school.
Dean says that they graduated from Grosse Pointe North and South high schools, and says that he can't even process what happened. He's asking for the community. He's asking how the community can be impacted like that. Also killed was Alexandria Werner of Clawson. Grosse Pointe Public School Superintendent John Dean says the 2021 Grosse Pointe North High School graduate Ariel Anderson and 2021 Grosse Pointe South High School graduate Brian Frazier were killed at Michigan State University.
I have felt an intense amount of support from our community and from the leaders across our community. I've personally had contact with Kevin Hertel, our state senator.
So a lot of stuff going on there. Take a listen to this. The 21-year-old Michigan State University senior has now survived 2 mass school shootings. Jackie Matthews was in the 6th grade in Sandy Hook when a man killed 28 people at the elementary school, placing all schools on lockdown.
I mean, it felt like a mirror image at an older age, and I just would never wish that on anybody.
She says 10 years later, she felt the same feeling of terror as she received the alert about MSU shooting on Monday night. Matthews is urging officials to take action to prevent shootings. Michigan State University senior Jack Matthews is also a Sandy Hook shooting survivor.
No one ever thinks it's going to happen to them until it does, and I think that's the scary part.
So, I don't know, a lot of stuff going on right there. Still, I mean, with the people at MSU, Michigan State University, and it's hard to, it's hard to see what's going on with the Spartans. It just really is in regards to what's going on. There's so many things that you can say post-event, but what can you do pre? That's always becomes a good portion of the conversation. So let's see what happens moving forward. Michigan, are we staying in Michigan? It seems that way. So coming out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, Corewell Health cardiologist Dr. Lori Fanny is reminding people that stress impacts the health of the heart.
This is the leading cause of death more than any other cancers combined in women in the United States. And I think some of the most important things to do is to raise awareness.
Okay, Fanny says that regularly exercise can help lower blood pressure and help people relax, and says that a type of daily stress can impact the health of the heart. So she recommends meditating to stay calm. Corewell Health cardiologist Dr. Fanny encourages people to exercise to improve their heart health. Take a look.
Things that are excellent for mental health that can help reduce your cardiovascular risk are regular exercise. This increases the endorphins in our system, which can in turn lower blood pressure, help us relax.
I'm pretty sure that people today are probably sitting around saying, I did a whole bunch of cardio stuff last night.
It's this show, and they just make fun of a whole bunch of people. It's just too funny. It's too stupid.
Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so it's 32 minutes past top of the hour. So do you know what that means? Well, it means that it's time to do that thing that we do. And I don't know what it is that we do, but we do something.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so main story time, on this marvelous hump day, on this marvelous Whip 'em Out Wednesday. And listen, I have to tell you, I'm always amazed with some of the things that I get to do and some of the people that I get to hang out with and some of the people that I get to talk to, because there are so many different people out there, and I always love to listen to different people's approaches. And listen, I can sit in with someone and converse, and they can talk 90% of the time, and I'm perfectly fine with that in regards of just taking a listen to what is going on inside of their versionality of the world. Because listen, we all see the world a little bit differently, regardless of what people say. The way you perceive the world and the way that I perceive the world will always be slightly different, just kind of the way that it goes. But, what I always get confused about is when you're inside of a work environment and things change and people tend to forget to inform the things that are important, like your team, like your colleagues, like the people that might be your potential clients. So I wanted to kind of bring this up because it's been some time. And I want you to think about this, about maybe a policy or a procedure that changed at your workplace and the team was never informed. Your clients were never informed. And we can go back a few years because there was one that was really popular that occurred about 6 years ago. And take a listen to this. So if you want to think about highlights of negative consequences of changing a policy without informing team members and clients, think about the incident that took place with United Airlines back in 2017. I want to say it was about April. United Airlines changed its policy on how they overbooked flights, which resulted in the airline being allowed to remove passengers from their flights involuntarily. If this rings a bell, there's a reason, because it was all over the news. However, the airline did not effectively communicate this change to its passengers, which led to highly publicized incidents where passengers were violently, yes, and I want you to remember that, violently dragged off planes by security personnel. The incident resulted in widespread backlash of United Airlines, if you remember correctly, as the video of passengers being forcibly removed from planes that went viral and sparked outrage among the public. Now, the airline stock price, of course, suffered a significant decline and faced a barrage of negative media coverage and public criticism. So let's just be realistic. The moment that an organization starts losing money, they will pay a lot of attention to what the hell is going on. So United Airlines serves as a cautionary tale for businesses and the importance of effective communication and transparent when implementing policy and changes that could impact their clients and customers. So failing to inform team members and clients about the policy changes can lead to a loss of trust and credibility, as well as consequences for the business reputation and the bottom line. Now, when you just heard that last thing that I said, some people that heard that only heard the portion about the bottom line, talking about what money the organization will make. And I look at it as, don't you want to be credible and trustworthy among your team members, among your clients? So I know that there's some times that you're sitting inside of an office. There might be some times that you're sitting outside, and there could be policy changes that are taking place. How are these things informed to your clients? How are these things informed to your team members? Because listen, it is so crucial to be able to have open communication. I mean, I know that some people will say, well, you blabber too much, meaning me, and I'm perfectly fine with that. But I'd rather over-communicate than not communicate enough where my team members and clients are not aware of what's going on. So think about that today. The next time you're sitting in a meeting and there's the discussion of we need to change X, if you do change it, how will it be told to the team members and clients? Because at the end of the day, you do not want to lose trust or credibility with the people that you work with and the clients that you serve. And yeah, I did say what you think I said. The clients that you serve.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobile.io. That's mobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
What is dedication? I am the father of a 9-year-old little girl and a 6-year-old little boy. And I find fatherhood both relentlessly challenging and relentlessly rewarding. My daughter is biological and my son is adopted. I love them both so much. From the morning when you wake up to putting them to bed at night and every moment in between, it really is so special. And boy, is it exhausting. One thing that I fear about being a parent is the future for my children. I think a parent's job is to protect our children, but also prepare them for the world so they become good, kind human beings. But I'm also hopeful that the future holds a more inclusive and compassionate world for them. That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
If you're worried your friend may be struggling, remember, you don't have to be there to be there. You can say how are you or get a fake tattoo. You can ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat on the game, kick off your flip-flops. You can ask on your couch while you binge watch. Whatever gets you talking.
Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and the JED Foundation.
So do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now, that live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/one. That's safetyfm.com/one. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
Prepare yourself.
We are now being distributed on iHeartRadio. Listen on iHeartRadio app. Radio Big.
Okay, let's go.
As your safety training old, stale, and hackneyed, safety trainers still preaching a warped version. How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Polzer at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Tearing the ass out of you like gas station sushi.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
The Rated R Safety Show on this marvelous Whip 'em Out Wednesday.
These rituals in my head, they're suffocating, but like monsters,
Okay, this little song right here is by Rory. This one's called Rituals. You can take a little download-zy of it if you like a little stream action via YouTube Music, Spotify, or Apple Music. So I'd like to thank Rory for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. So there you go. There you go. Little rituals. So I have to tell you, yesterday, I know it was Tuesday, but for some reason I kept on believing that it was Wednesday. And I don't know how many people I said that it was Wednesday. And then I did this very weird thing. I tried to set up a whole bunch of appointments yesterday evening. Not with some other people, of course. And then coming to the realization that I was asking a whole bunch of people to meet up on Valentine's Day, which was, post-event, terrible idea. Pre-event, oh my God, I thought it was a great idea when I was coming up with it. But there you go. It is what it is. Too late now. Life will go on, dear John. That's the way that it goes. Anyways, let's talk about some important stuff because I think it's always important to do that. And at this point, I believe that this will be the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime. And that's about my friends at 988 Suicides in Crisis Lifeline. They can help you prevent suicide. The Lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support for people in distress, prevention, and crisis resources for you and your loved ones, and the best practices for professionals in the United States. If you want to find out more information, all you have to do is go to 988lifeline.org. That's 988lifeline.org. That will get you moving and grooving in regards to finding out any information that you want on their website. Or you can text the word TALK to 988, or you can call 988. Anything that you do there will get information moving your general direction relatively quick. When you do go to the website, if you opt to go that way, there is a chat box as well. So there are some different options in regards to doing that. If you are struggling with some mental health
Don't worry. They're there to help you. 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Website 988lifeline.org. Keep that in mind. Currently 45 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this fantastic Wednesday as we are talking and taking a look at everything that is going on. Let's talk real quick about some things going on. Being at the top of the end of the income scale doesn't necessarily mean that you're much smarter than the average person, according to a new study. And even more interestingly, those in the top 1% are earning scale score lower in cognitive ability tests than those who are earning slightly less. Swedish researchers based the findings on data of about 60,000 Swedish men who completed the military conspiracy test aged between 18 or 19, and they found no evidence of those on the top jobs pay scale. Extraordinary wages are more deserving than those who earn only half of those wages. Researchers concluded that when it comes to very high earners, that their resources value due to someone's family background, plus lucky breaks in their career, carry more weight than overall intelligence. Is that why every person talking about Nepo babies these days? I mean, I'm just asking. Also, and that's why I've been trying to tell my wife Tom Brady just got lucky. He couldn't just have easily been me. I mean, you know what I'm saying there. Okay, I'm joking as I say that portion because there is no truth to any of that. So take a listen to this. McDonald's is offering an iconic Big Mac sauce as a condiment served at the dip cup in Canada. Unlike the brand's traditional dipping sauces, which are typically available free with the purchase of the menu items, Big Mac sauce, also known as special sauce or secret sauce, in the dip cup form is listed as the condiment of McDonald's Canada website priced at 30 cents each. Big Mac sauces can be found at participating McDonald's locations across Canada through March the 6th. I'm holding out for the Big Mac flavored milkshake because I'm sure that's going to be a thing. Take a listen to this. Mischief, an art collective specialized in unique products, has announced that their new cologne inspired by WD-40. Yes, I did say WD-40. And while the makers of the world's most popular lubricant spray are especially advised against applying it to your skin, a new smell like WD-40 cologne is made exactly for that. The smell of WD-40 is almost as famous as versatility. And people who have been making jokes, memes about the WD-40 perfumes for years. Unfortunately, the WD-40 cologne is currently sold out. Its official website, and no wonder, at only $48 per can. I mean, it sounds like the deals of deals. Why would you want to turn it down? I mean, just think about it. Why would you not want to smell like WD-40 all day? Especially if you have the opportunity of doing so. Anyways, let's get a little swampy right now. I'm going to bring in some politics stuff. Don't hold it against me. Here we go.
President Biden is making the case that his domestic agenda is working.
Less than 2 months after he took office, the American Rescue Plan led to the fastest economic recovery of any major economy in the world.
While addressing a gathering of county officials from around the country, Biden laid out how his legislation benefits local communities and is bringing down costs for Americans. He said his administration has made economic progress as inflation is trending downward and unemployment remains low. He said the latest data released by the Labor Department shows the nation is on the right track, although he acknowledged more work needs to be done. Biden also took aim at Republicans, continuing his claims that some in the GOP want to cut Social Security and Medicare. Inflation is rising slightly. The Consumer Price Index increased by 0.5% in January, above what economists had predicted. Meantime, the year-over-year number rose by 6.4%. And speaking with the New Yorker, former White House Chief of Staff Ron Klain is confident President Biden is the Democrats' best shot to keep control of the White House in 2024. That's politics. Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
Okay, there you go. Some swampy stuff. I just want to make sure that I heard that correctly. Did he say that President Biden is the best chance for the Democrats keeping the White House? That's pretty interesting, I would have to say. Anyways, take a listen to this. I got some tech roundup coming your way. Take a listen.
Twilio plans to cut about 17% of its workforce, or roughly 1,500 jobs. CEO Jeff Lawson told employees the cuts are part of a restructuring plan. The cloud-based communications platform is forming 2 business units to help trim costs and become more efficient. Senators are ripping the effects of cryptocurrency in the past year, especially after the collapse of FTX.
Big crypto companies are looking to make big profits, are desperate to reach as many Americans as they can, hence the $54 million in ads in Super Bowl. They brought in celebrities and gimmicks to make crypto sound exciting and daring.
Ohio Democrat Sherrod Brown spoke at a hearing hearing on the matter, Republican Senator Tim Scott added that even though financial innovation with new technology is critical, many in the digital asset space, such as FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried, have instead misused and stolen funds. And ZooX is letting employees test ride their driverless robo-taxis on public roads. For now, tests are limited to employees at ZooX headquarters in California. Amazon acquired the startup in 2020. Tech Report, Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
Okay, thank you, Mark Mayfield, for the information on what is going on that side of the world, because that's important as we are talking. Take a listen to this. A 19-year-old gunman who carried out a deadly mass shooting in Buffalo supermarket last year is set to be sentenced to prison today. Take a listen to what Trey Thomas has to share.
Peyton Gendron, a self-professed white supremacist, recently pleaded guilty to state charges after the May massacre that left 10 black people dead. Authorities say it was a racially motivated attack. More than a dozen people are expected to deliver victim impact statements before the judge imposes the sentence. Gendron will also have a chance to speak. I'm Trey Thomas.
Okay, thank you very much, Trey, for that information right there, because that's important as we are talking. There is no doubt about that. Will you be paying close attention to what happens? I'm kind of interested in what's going to happen, because why wouldn't I be? Anyways, Marshall City Manager Derek Perry says that it's about 2 years before the land transfer of Resonating for Ford's electric vehicle battery plant is done and construction can begin.
Although the announcement was the big win, there really are a lot of things to do going forward.
The city must annex around 1,400 acres of so-called Marshall mega site and then rezone the land. Perry says the permits need to be reissued and utilities like electricity, water, sewer need to be added. Ford will spend about $3.5 billion on the plant. Derek Perry says that the land transfer will be kind of a main portion here,
which allows us then to complete this process and provide city services typically, and then provide some type of revenue sharing with the local unit.
Okay, so there you go. Be on the lookout for that and exactly what is going on. Exciting times going on over there. So with that being said, it's about 52 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's bring some John Small inside of here and let him tell you about what the hell is going on inside of the world of the market. Matter of fact, now, he's going to tell you the Motivation Minute. Ignore the market comment. I'm just on drugs.
Today's Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Greg. John C. Maxwell said, "The bottom line in leadership isn't how far we advance ourselves, but how far we advance others." What a great quote. I worked with a guy who was really good at many things, but he was not a very good manager. He was afraid to let anyone on his team do better than he did. So he may not have even known he was doing it, but he kept people from growing too much. When I moved on, I had a pretty frank conversation with him about it. I did it out of love, but I was a little more direct than I may have been if I was actually staying there. He and I are still friends, and I don't know if that conversation helped, but he is a better manager today. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlyssaMorgan.com. Let's take a minute to talk about some of the natural loss of muscle function that happens with aging. It's not just atrophy, it's the nervous system too. Muscle denervation, the loss of nerve supply to muscles, rapidly accelerates the loss of muscle mass and muscle function, increasing with age. But there's good news too. Weight training can help slow and reverse this process. Furthermore, if one has already reached the old age, the effects from a new weightlifting program can be very rapid. Here's how it works. When you are physically active, the brain sends a signal to the cells in the spinal cord called motor neurons, which pass the message onto the muscles and tell your body to move in a certain way. Weight training helps strengthen communication by re-innervating muscle fibers. For more information, check out AlyssaMorgan.com.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
Why do we always seem to be self-imploding on these airwaves? It's just kind of an interesting twist of things. As we are talking, there is no doubt about that. Take a listen to this. Top military officials say that the first shot taken down of the high altitude object flying over Lake Huron missed its target. Trey Thomas has more info.
While speaking to reporters in Brussels, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff Mark Milley said the first missile, fired from a fighter jet last week, landed safely in the water.
We tracked it all the way down, and we made sure that the airspace was clear of any commercial, civilian, or recreational traffic.
A second missile hit the mark. Crews are working to retrieve the debris from the object, and 2 others downed in the U.S. and Canada. I'm Trey Thomas.
Okay, so there you go. That's what's going on that neck of the woods with some of the information that is happening. So let's take a look around real quick. Let's see what happened. Yes, let's ask that question. What happened back on this date? So as I'm taking a look and going through everything, let's see. Let's go back to 1978 for a moment. 1978. Where'd it go? Escaped mass murderer Ted Bundy is recaptured in Pensacola, Florida. He had escaped from Colorado jail where he was being held for the murder of a Michigan nurse. While on the run, Bundy would also murder sorority sister Margaret Brown and Lisa Levy at Florida State University. That happened back in 1978. Think about that for a moment. Anyways, taking a look around, let's talk about some birthdays that are going on today. Megan Thee Stallion turns 28. Ziggy turns 32. Amber Riley, 37. Ross Duffer, 39. Alex Borstein, 52. Birdman, the rapper, he turns 54. Jane Seymour turns 72 today. So there you go. That's some birthdays. If you're looking at some reasons to celebrate today, I have some of those for you. It's World Hippo Day, Annoy Squidward Day, Singles Awareness Day. Why is it the day after Valentine's Day, Single Awareness Day? And National Gumdrop Day. So there's a day to drop gum. I mean, I don't know. When I'm dropping stuff, I would think that would mean something else. I don't know. Just throwing that out there. So it is Wednesday, so let's talk about some whack facts real quick, because I think that's important. Fungus is more closely related to animals at a genetic level than they are to plants. Amazon's largest warehouse is the size of 17, listen to me, 17 football fields. When you remember a past event, you are actually remembering the last time you remembered it, not the event itself. The average person in France sleeps 8.83 hours per day, the most in a developed world. Research has shown that dogs actually like the silly, high-pitched voice their owners use to talk to them. And the word huh is understood in all languages. Huh? So, there you go. I did not know that. I definitely did not know the last one, because I have a friend that tells me, huh, all the time. And I always think that it's so weird. It's like, so is that like an answer or what's going on? Anyways, if you need a random joke for today, try this. Never put off till tomorrow what you can do the day after tomorrow. Think about that. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. As a child, what did you think would be awesome about being an adult, but it didn't turn out to be quite as great? If you need a question for the water cooler, try this. In a survey, fully half of employees surveyed said that they don't have this at work. What is it? Friends. Yep, the answer was friends. Think about that real quick. How odd that is. So there you go. That's going to sum up our time together. At the top of the hour, I'll be going over to radiobig.fm. If you want to come and hang out, do some music stuff with me, I'd love to see you there on that side of the equation. If not, that's okay. We can do some other things. You can stay on Safety FM, hang out with Sheldon Primus, no problem whatsoever. He'll be doing the Safety Consultant Show, because that's what he does during that time. Anyways, thank you for being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener, because without you, we could not do what we do around here. That is for sure. If I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. If you want to be happy, set a goal that commands your thoughts, liberates your energy, and inspires your hope. Think about that. That one will take you to places that you never thought that you were going to go. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye. And hope to see you very soon. Or if not, I hope to see you tomorrow.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.